In 2013, a geological survey team in northern Kazakhstan was hired to prepare a remote mountain site for a new government-funded mining operation. They had no idea that what they were about to uncover had been sealed for over 1,000 years. No one had dared go near the land for centuries. Locals called it the Devil's Mouth. By the time they realized they had gone too deep, it was already too late. The story begins in the Karkrali Mountains, a jagged range known more for its wildlife than its resources. But satellite imagery revealed strange underground heat patterns and metallic signatures, prompting Kazgeo Mining Corporation to send a crew to investigate. The team consisted of 12 men and women, geologists, engineers, and local guides. Among them was Dr. Elena Grigorieva, a respected geoarcheologist who had previously uncovered Scythian burial chambers across Eurasia. The project was routine. They expected to find mineral veins or old rock formations, nothing else. But on day 5, while drilling through a granite shelf at 60 meters, the drill head punched through open space. They'd found a void. Perfectly symmetrical. Perfectly square. Thinking it was a collapsed cave, they lowered a camera into the hole. What they saw defied explanation. The walls weren't natural. They were smooth stone blocks, covered in moss-like growths, some still pulsing with what looked like movement. Symbols were etched along the corners, resembling cuneiform, but more angular, alien. At the bottom was a floor of solid black stone, untouched by moisture or decay. Dr. Elena knew instantly, this wasn't a cave. This was constructed. A decision was made to enter. 4 team members, including Dr. Elena, descended into the void the next morning. What they reported over the radios was erratic. Muffled audio. Interference. Whispering sounds. And then, screaming. The 4 explorers were pulled out one by one, pale and shaking. They couldn't explain what they saw. Their speech was slurred. One technician, Oleg, kept repeating, "It was waiting. It's still waiting." Dr. Elena didn't speak for 14 hours. When she finally did, all she said was, "This isn't a tomb. It's a warning." Later that night, the crew reviewed the video footage from the helmet cams. The files were corrupted, skipping violently, but brief frames showed. A central chamber, roughly 40 by 40 feet. Stone pillars covered in rust-colored carvings. A slab in the center, cracked in half. And something that looked like a humanoid figure, motionless, buried partially under the slab. Its limbs were too long. Its fingers, clawed. Its face, covered in some kind of gold mask. They hadn't found a mine. They had found a sealed prison. Locals in nearby villages began warning the workers. One elder woman, Babushka Vana, came to the site gates and screamed at the guards. "You opened what our ancestors died to keep closed. Close it again, or we all burn." She later explained that her grandmother had told stories of the Chained One, a creature not human, not beast, that had come from under the earth in ancient times. Tribes from across the land united to bury it alive under a coffin made of mountains. In the legends, anyone who disturbed the coffin became sick, then violent, and then disappeared. The project lead dismissed her. He shouldn't have. Within a week, strange things began happening. Crew members reported hearing scratching from beneath the stone. Tools went missing, only to be found days later in impossible locations, wedged into trees, buried in untouched earth. A guide, Arseny, was found standing in the snow in the middle of the night, muttering in a language no one recognized, his eyes rolled back. Then the deaths began. First, the cook, dead in her tent. No wounds. Just gone, her face frozen in horror. Second, an engineer who walked into the forest barefoot and never returned. Third, a geologist who carved the same symbol from the tomb wall into his chest before falling to his death. The surviving crew demanded to leave. A helicopter was scheduled, but as it attempted to land, the instruments failed. The pilot reported a magnetic field spike over the site. It would take another 5 days before they could be evacuated. In that time, 2 more vanished, and Dr. Elena began displaying signs of possession. Her journal entries became erratic, filled with repeated phrases. "It hears. It remembers. It learned from us. We are the lock now. When the rescue finally came, only 5 of the original 12 remained. Of them, 3 were institutionalized. The remaining 2 left Kazakhstan and never spoke of the event again. The government sealed the site permanently under military guard. No public statement was ever made. The chamber was dubbed The Depth in classified documents later leaked in 2019. Independent researchers, led by a German linguist named Dr. Harald Klein, analyzed the leaked symbols. Their translation attempt suggested the structure was not a tomb, but a containment unit, like an ark or a trap. One line kept repeating, "It is not of this soil. It is of fire and silence. Keep it dreaming." Dr. Klein died of a brain aneurysm before completing his work. His last notes were found scrawled across his walls. "It feeds on thought. It only needed a door. We opened the dream." In 2022, a shortwave radio enthusiast in Poland claimed to have intercepted an emergency broadcast from within the sealed zone. He posted the recording online before being arrested under unknown charges. The audio was less than 10 seconds long. In it, a man is heard breathing heavily, followed by a whispering voice that says, "You brought me air. You brought me light. You brought me back." Then static. The account disappeared. The audio was wiped from most platforms. But fragments remain in dark corners of the internet. Some say if you listen closely, you can hear a second voice in the background. Crying, screaming, or laughing. No one agrees which. What did they find beneath the Karkrali mountains? Was it an ancient entity? A failed experiment? Or something from another world entirely? Was it truly sealed away by ancient people? Or was it something even they didn't understand? And more importantly, is it still sealed now? Because according to leaked seismic data from 2023, there were tremors recorded in the area, from beneath the mountain, not above it. And local hunters claim the animals no longer go near the valley. They say sometimes, at night, you can see flickers of light coming up through the cracks in the ground. And if you're very quiet, you might hear a slow, dragging breath. They dug too deep. They broke something that wasn't meant to be broken. And now, something ancient, something that was sealed for centuries, may no longer be asleep.